Here we are again, Imzaia. In a moment of space and time, a moment where you are in control. You are in control because that is the exact reason why I, Adamus, chose to take these matters into our own hands. Everybody on this planet now is talking about new energy. All the spiritual leaders are talking about it. Everybody knows that something is going on. But nobody, almost nobody, is actually taking the action that is required to make things happen on this planet Earth. Now tonight, at least for you tonight, I will talk to Ekara and all the others to let them know the changes that have occurred, the potential that has been created. And I'm sure that my good friends, like usual, will see the potential that is present and make the necessary shifts, make the necessary changes. The interesting thing is that not many people are realizing what is happening in the last few days and what will still continue in the coming days. And that is the great celebration that is happening. For you see, I have a different way of looking at things. I see that humanity is basically celebrating a birthday, a new beginning. I see that this entire planet that I was once a part of has just turned 1 year of age. And why? Because an entire cycle of the human race has been walked now. And this cycle is a cycle that has been walked by many different civilizations on planet Earth. It has been walked by the Lemurian. The cycle has been walked by the Atlantean and by so many other races that came before. Only once the cycle was complete, the society that people were living in used to destroy itself. And that hasn't happened this time. That's why humanity has come of age and is ready for a next step. I'm always one that is into partying. I love to dance. I love to spread my energy around. And that is why I couldn't let this opportunity pass. There is an opportunity here, Imzaia. An opportunity that I shall soon discuss with other types of groups and consciousness all around planet Earth. An opportunity for growth that you haven't had the ability to take before. And the interesting thing about this is that what used to be before now doesn't exist anymore. It's like looking at a book that used to be filled with so many words and stories and everything, and now when I take that same book off my closet and open it up, all the pages are empty. And that's an amazing thing that humanity accomplished. In the coming days, we and all of you will start writing the first chapter of this new book. So this entire course then that you are going through now isn't just about yourselves. It is about all of humanity and all of life. There are other groups like this one on planet Earth right now going through experiences like this one. There are groups in the United States that are doing it. They're sitting in a room much like this one that you are sitting in right now, and that are a little bit surprised of the information, of the things that are being said, of the opportunity that has been provided now. And there are other groups that will still come, will still follow. What does it all mean? What can you do with this? The story I told just an hour ago. The choice that I presented to you. It's very simple, really. It's very simple, and I might be repeating myself, but I'm going to say it yet again. This is about humanity returning home. Becoming the key that is turned in this universe that will light up everything. And I just hope that you can feel the love that I have for you. The love and the joy that comes with that love. And I hope that you can feel the beginning of what is freedom. For that is what you are stepping into. That is why the room inside has gotten bigger now. That is why some of you here feel slightly lost. Because the room is so much bigger now. And I'm here to tell you it's only going to get bigger. The walls are going to continue to move away from you. Until at one point they are no longer in your reality. And you can no longer see them. And they'll be gone. And at that point, the free energy human will step forward. 8 billion masters waking up on planet Earth. I've said this before, but as I am beginning to understand, I must repeat myself quite often before you actually hear what I'm saying. Before you actually undertake the action that exists within you because of the energy that is coming out of you and being transferred here into my words. Humanity is ready to wake up. And imagine the consequence in this universe and all other life around that when 8 billion of you do this. When 8 billion of you become aware of what they are. It's not just an occasion that I'm talking about here. It is a life-changing event for the divine itself. And now what are we going to do with all of that information? What are we going to do? Are we going to just continue on with our lives and see all the problems in it and be afraid and not do anything about that fear, then let it grow bigger? Or are we going to face the music and dance? Yeah, we'll dance. I know we will, because if you hadn't wanted to go further, then you wouldn't be here right now. You would have gone home. And that wouldn't have been a problem, but you are here. You are here. And the coming days, 4 days, that are still left, because you might have noticed how we warped time a little bit during this day. The coming days are going to be big. Now, why did we warp time? Because if you look at your biological clock, you would see, you would feel that actually right now, it shouldn't be past 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It shouldn't be getting dark yet. It should be right about 2:30 right now. If you were to remember that my words that I used before, the Ekaraya before, lasted just about an hour, not longer than that. So it shouldn't be 5 o'clock. What have we done? What have you done? You have stepped into a new reality. A reality where you are handling many of these things you call time and you call space, where you are manifesting it. The reason why time has sped up so much is because you have decided to move forward. You are no longer in the cocoon. You have stepped through that. Even though there might still be a little bit of doubt, a little bit of fear, you have stepped through the cocoon. And you have emerged on the other side. And now you see that time and space and all these other laws of physics that were helping to keep you down are no longer working in the same way. You have sped up time to go to an experience where you actually squished it. Time. If you keep doing this, you will have very short days indeed. And it is normal. It is normal for the human that learns how to master time, how to step out of this box, to speed things up at first, because that's the orientation that you have, you see. You have always been programmed to move, 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 get on with it, get on with it. So what's the first thing you do when you're actually in control? You speed things up. Now I'm going to ask you to slow things down. I'm going to ask you say what?
Say what?
I'm going to ask you to turn these 4 days that are still ahead and the evening that is to come into a period of 144 hours in a day. Yes, you can do that, you know. You have that ability. This is no longer about just sitting here and experiencing this energy and experiencing this information. This is about creating it, creating the experience, creating the information. You have the ability to exist within a framework of time and space and still keep it linear, where you experience 144 hours in 1 hour. That is the amount with which you can stretch time and still stay within a linear framework. If you do that for 24 hours, then I don't think you're going to be stressed still. And I don't think that you're going to be worrying about getting to your next appointment on time. Then I don't think that you're going to be reaching for that cell phone even before the traffic jam shows up to say that you're going to be 5 minutes late in the meeting. Then I don't think that you will be wasting your time with doing things that others tell you are important. If you have all this time at hand, then you can create the life and the world the way you, as a creator, as a God, wants to see it manifested. Do you understand? That is why this ability is opening up to you in the first place. You could say, why isn't this happening to all of humanity at once right now? Why isn't it so that humanity as a whole is now speeding up time, has sped up this process? Well, imagine what would happen if a leader based on power, such as the one in your White House right now, were to find these gifts within. If that were to happen, then things would go pretty awry very quickly, I believe. So the group that was chosen to do this first is a group of people all around the world who have within their soul the highest calling for the highest passion. Let's talk about passion for a minute. Let's talk about ashen for a minute. Must remember not to pee. Good, huh? Let's talk about passion. You all know, because you have read the books and you have listened to the channelings, that passion... I'm really not going to pee anymore. That passion is something that is not fixed. You can't find your passion in a day and then say you're never going to find a different type of passion after that. Passion is like clay, as you know, and you take a little bit of it every single day and shape it the way you see fit that day. You are an artist. You are a sculptor that one day wants to make a vase out of that clay, and then the other day you want to make something completely different. It is fine. Whatever you want to do with it, that's the passion for that day. You see? However, if you find this gift, like it has been uncovered to so many people on the planet with movies such as The Secret and so many different movies that are coming out and so much wisdom that is resurfacing on the planet, the first thing that the mind wants to do is create things that will finally take away that huge desire that lives within man. So, what are you going to be creating if you're unconscious? You're going to be creating more money, you're going to be creating bigger houses, you're going to be creating better jobs, you're going to be creating more sex, whatever it is, some people would. You're going to be creating a more beautiful you, a more beautiful body at least. And all of those things. That's not the way. It isn't. It's not the way that passion was really meant to be. Because there is a bigger passion, a higher passion, you see. And this is basically why you are all here. You are in the grip of that which you call the highest passion. And that is creating a better world. A world based on universal love, universal joy, and universal freedom for all mankind. All mankind. All life. Not just mankind, but animal kind, plant kind, whatever. All consciousness. And that, my beloved Imzaia, for that you are to be revered. That this lives inside of your heart. That this is something that you would want to see manifest. That is something that is unique on this planet Earth. For most people would first look at their own needs and their own desires, and then towards others. You within you lives the potential of first looking towards creating something that will assist everybody. And that is the highest passion. That is the highest passion of your soul. Of why not just you, but I at one point, and so many others at one point were born, chose to come to planet Earth. And because you have shown that you can carry this responsibility, for it is a responsibility, that is why it is coming to you first. That is why this day hasn't even lasted half a day. But now, let's focus for a minute. Because you see what could happen if you don't stay in focus. But let's focus. Let's look towards this. What is focus really? It is understanding that you are energy. and that this energy is guided by a force that you call consciousness. And that if you just focus that consciousness towards the act of creation through the act of emission, and you can make manifest whatever it is that you want. I implore you, make sure that you never manifest something based on mind energy. For it will still show up in your lives. You are very new at this after all. At least that's what you think. You are very new at this, and the mind will come in. However, we could no longer wait, and that's why I myself have also sped up things just a little bit. I could no longer take it that people, including friends of mine, are talking about free energy, new energy, and then not give you that, not let you experience that. For that would create a discrepancy, you see, between what you know and what you experience.
But does it happen now in the whole world?
No.
No, only here?
No, not only here. Well, it's not just happening here, it's happening to similar groups all over planet Earth.
Okay.
And I'm talking, yes,
yeah, okay.
I'm talking about Shambra, I'm talking about light worker consciousness, I'm talking about Imzaia consciousness.
Okay, yeah.
3 at first, as an experiment,
Okay.
to see if responsibility will also arise from the depths of you. You see? But we could no longer I could no longer see this happen, that there is a discrepancy between what you know and between what you experience, because I know, as I was watching the potentials, I know what could happen is that if you don't see the results of this, that you would fall back to sleep. You see? Now you have been given an immediate result, and you see how easy it is to create, how easy it is to manifest. If you think about manifestation, and most people think, like the story I told you hours ago, that you could just open your hand and manifest a flower. And that is true. That is true. But it goes way beyond that. Manifesting time and the time-space continuum, that is what you have done on a natural basis, day after day after day after day, always. But you were stuck within certain parameters. And it's silly if you think of it. You made this world appear to run on a 24-hour schedule. And you say that it is because of the turning around of the Earth around its own axis and around the Sun, obviously. Nothing could be further from the truth. Yes, it is true that in these laws of physics, that in this set of it, and that in this reality, you are experiencing that movement of time. But do you really think something that is so divine is going to answer to something that you call the laws of physics? The only reason why the laws of physics are the laws is because some scientist at a certain point has discovered one, and then another discovered another, and then another and another, and you said, okay, this is it, this is the rule book. This is how our universe works. And so it was. So it was that the universe worked as such. I know that you're still having trouble in most cases to go to previous lifetimes, but I would just invite you now, just for a second, to go back thousands of years ago, just for a second, and to have an image of you as, let's say, a Neanderthal. It's a while ago, if you look, if you feel those days before the Dark Ages, before the beginning of any type of civilization that you are aware of, do you feel that this planet had 24 hours? Or do you feel that the days were the way you made them, without even realizing it? And some in that which you are calling the Imzaia fellowship have had that experience, know that you can speed up time and slow it down and do all of these things with it. Now you all can share in that experience. But think back how easy it was then to play around with your day, and how days and the length of a day, in your experience at least, was based on the love you were feeling and the joy you were having. Can you remember that? Can you remember Lemuria then, even further back? Can you imagine a world where the sun didn't always used to set on a fixed schedule the way it did here? Do you see this? I remember my good old friend Kutumi. One of his first incarnations, obviously, as he has told you, was Lemuria. And he had such a good time there. He had such a good experience there because what you were thinking, the way you were feeling, and then to see the response that the earth and nature was giving you was beautiful. And Kutumi basically got bored of a physical existence when things started to be set in stone, you see, when laws were coming up, when things were being divided into separate segments like 24 hours a day and all of that. And then, which is of course unavoidable, what you have seen happen just a couple of years on this planet, ever since 2001, is more and more things that are turning into laws. At first, it was done with the laws of physics. And then it was done with the laws of love. And then it was done with the laws of joy. What type of joy can you experience? How may you experience? And when may you experience your joy? And ultimately, since 2001 and the 9/11 incident, which was obviously a setup, of course, it started happening to the laws of freedom. Now we have watched this for 7 years almost. Seen it happen for 7 years on planet Earth, that the freedom was being taken away, step by step by step, because of an increase in pain and an increase in fear, and so many different things. And you almost were right near the end of it. It would take no more than 4 years maximum to take the last bits of freedom away from you, so that in the end, again, it would all be set. Love would be set in stone, what can and can't happen, what is okay and what isn't okay. How can love be anything else but okay? But anyway. And then, what used to be okay when it came to joy. And now, if things were to go on the way they are, in just a few years' time, there would be no turning back. It would be impossible to reactivate your complete set of DNA. It would be impossible to become master of your own life again. And a slave race, a universal slave race, would have been created, but not this time. It's not going to happen this time. With just a little bit of extra motivation, we are giving you the tools that you need to make sure it doesn't happen. Now, about these tools, you might want to ask, how do I control time? How do I do it? Where's the manual? How do I look up all these laws of physics and make sure that I can handle them? Well, you don't need to look at the laws of physics, for physics is an illusion. All you need to do all of these things, to manifest, to change the course of time, to change the space around you, is to go from the mind again to consciousness, to go beyond all these illusions, and then use the tools, and again here I go, of love and joy and freedom. What are you feeling? That's the basic question. What are you feeling, and how do you want to experience that? You are experiencing, let's say, a beautiful moment in nature, in connection to all that is. You're having fun. You're enjoying yourselves. These days, there would be a set parameter on that. Because no matter how long the fun could last, at a certain point, you would have something else to do. You can go on a trip, for instance, that lasts for about a week and feel all the freedom of that trip. And right before you left, you were so happy when you could leave your workspace, let's say a car factory, behind, and you could pack up and leave with a friend and have a wonderful week of freedom. You would feel fantastic, but you would not be free. Because at the end of that week, you were forced to go back and continue the same routine that you've always been in. You call it a holiday. It's an escape out of prison to go into a fun prison for a while. And then you have to go back to the old prison. Just to give you the illusion of freedom. Yet, what I'm talking about is completely different. What I'm talking about is experiencing moments that are not linked or connected to time. Time has become such a standard on the planet, while in olden days it used to be just another experience. You could choose to have time move forward, or you could choose to be outside of time altogether and to have these moments that you wanted last as long as you needed. And if you wanted to experience them once again, years down the road, you would just return back to that moment.
And does it work as an individual experience or as a total?
Both.
So if the total is in stress, the time will be very...
Well, at this point, yes.
Okay.
At this point, yes.
At another point it will be...
That will change.
Right.
Because all will go back to the one, you see.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yes. So at one point, there will no longer be any discrepancy between what you want and what another wants. Because it will... And this doesn't mean that your individualism will be taken away. It doesn't mean that your freedom will be taken away. It will just mean that you will be connected to this higher source that will allow you to create a time pocket that you want while not destroying the general course of the all. You see?
And how does it work? The bigger the passion, the bigger the input, or?
In what way exactly?
In manifesting?
No, it's not about, well, it is about passion, but passion always shows up in these three things: love, joy, and freedom. You see? So if you are in a moment, if you have created a moment that you want to continue experiencing it, just remain in that joy.
Yeah.
You see? And just remain in that love. And then you have the ability to let time move or not. Because why should you be governed, for instance, by if you are having a good time in a park? Why should you be governed by the fact that at a certain point the sun will go down and it will get cold and you will have to go away because the park will close? It doesn't need to be that way. You can be in total control of time and space through your own love, your own joy, and your own freedom. And the responsibility that comes with that is that I have the deepest confidence, and so many others with me, the deepest confidence that this will not turn into chaos. That those who are ready to claim their own independence, their own sovereignty, will act for the greater good, for the good of the one soul, the one heart, the one consciousness, always. Oh, Imzaia, I could go on talking for hours, but all I want you to feel right now, all I want to give you is that state of happiness and that state of gratefulness that is coming from myself and so many others like me, because humanity is standing up. And you will have to go through the illusions, yes. You will have to master them. You will have to understand the workings of love and joy and freedom and all of these things. But I just wanted to give you the final product, you see. I just wanted to let you see a little bit of the end of that road. And that there's a portal at the end of that road, opening up to a bigger world, a bigger space, an infinite space. For instance, you keep talking about all of these dimensions, and because you were talking about all of these dimensions, our framework of providing you with information was also based on all of these dimensions. But there is just one dimension. It's called infinity. Or if you want to have a go at it, call it infinity, like someone said a couple of days ago. It's an infinite dimension that is just based on the cornerstones of that love and that joy and that freedom. And I'm going to use those words until you get sick of them, because that is all what it's about. It's love and joy and freedom, baby. And as Katumi would say, it's my party and you're all invited. But it's your party too. As you will continue to grow in this, as you will become more and more aware of the I am that lives within, you will see that all of these shattered realities that you're sitting in individually are going to go away. The walls are going to be melting away. And you will find yourself in that one space. That I am space. And I am proud to be talking now to a group of ambassadors who are going to make this happen. Because Akara, obviously, isn't the only one seeing the future perspective and knowing you from a perspective of future. I have the same experience. So often, together with him and so many others, I have talked to you in that future point of space and time. And that is why it makes me so proud and so, I don't know, that feeling. You know what I mean? To be looking at your faces and to see the potential for those faces. To see you now, here, and to see you in that future space where all the shame and all the fear and all the unhappiness, and I'm not going to put them down your throat, so I'm not going to say all of it, all those things are no longer there with you. And actually, if you're really honest with yourselves, it's already showing up. You're just holding on to those things because, well, that's the way it's done, isn't it? Humanity is sometimes happy and sometimes you're down. And sometimes you're afraid and sometimes you're in love. It's just because you were taught to be that way. You don't have to continue being that way. And I know for a fact that if I look inside of all of you, I already see it there. But you're just not quite ready to admit it. You're not quite ready to admit that things have already changed, so you keep giving in to this thing called mind, because that's the way it's done. But it has changed. And it changed a long time ago. So all we have to do with you in the coming days now is to convince you of that fact. And we're very good at convincing. We are very good at convincing because all we have to do when we do that is show you your own beauty. And yes, Ekara will, one final time, in the coming days, take you through those 6 grand illusions. But believe me, it's the last time him or anyone else are going to talk about those illusions. We might do it towards other people still, as you will do it towards other people as well. But I mean in your lives. It's the last time that we will accept the notion of illusion in your lives. After that, if you want to hold on to it, that's your problem. But we're not going to talk to you anymore from that point of view. So you have the choice of either holding on to that or letting that go. And I know that you're going to let it go. No more illusions. One final time, we will provide you with an understanding of these things we call illusion. Just enough so you can let it go. And that will happen in the coming 2 days. The 2 days after that will be based on more interesting things such as love and joy and freedom. And what free energy really is all about, and how you can change this planet. So there you have it. That's the structure of what we want to do with you. And as you go through these illusions, we will use the ones that are actually practically present in your life, so you can let them go. And as you learn how to let them go, you will have a first-hand experience to teach this to others. And then in the last 2 days, again, we will focus on what is to come. And you might think, if I've been living in this illusion for such a long time, all my life, or all my lives even, how can I possibly break through them in 2 days? Well, as I have said to you before, you could break through them in 2 hours, in 2 minutes, in 2 seconds, right now. But we will give you some time. And then, to begin working with these 3 great principles, which are the cornerstone of who you truly are, is even more easy. And anyway, we have more time than 4 days, have we not? For right now already you are beginning to manifest this stretch of time, instead of this shrinking of it. I invite you to focus on that in the coming days, to keep focusing on it, and also to remind each other of that focus. You are here not just as a person attending a seminar, you are here as a group. And if you act as a group consciousness in the coming days, you will be amazed at yourselves, at what you're going to accomplish. Some of you will even be a little bit shocked to see the things that are going to be happening to you. But then again, it needs to happen sooner or later. I am very grateful that you chose to make it happen sooner rather than later. And then if you go home, if you go away from here, you will walk with the footsteps of the beginning of mastery. And as energy can shrink and set out as much as it wants, especially when you are in infinity, I and the others guarantee you again that we will walk with you until you manage how and learn how to walk by yourself in the oneness. We won't just give you all of this, the things that we have given you today, that we have told you today, and then at the end just drop you and let you go down again. There is no more going down. The only way is up, baby. Katumi isn't the only one that can go up. So, I have said many things and I could go on, but I want to give you the opportunity to integrate all of this tonight. So I would like to take questions if you have questions. Ah, I love you too. Thank you. Usually you ask so many questions, now I get something. It's beautiful. Thank you. Are there any questions here? My lady.
When I was outside under a tree and thinking about those yes or no, I chose yes for only 2 reasons, and that is that this life is now the most important of my lives on earth.
Mm-hmm.
And when I go over, I would be damned disappointed if I chose no. But there was still, I know the answer of the question I will ask is, of course it is yes, but it's telling you about the feeling in me.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the feeling, will I be able to keep myself alive?
Obviously, yes. But that's a feeling that you have. It's an emotion, it's a fear. Okay, let's go into this. What is alive?
having everything I need to do what I want, to be functional.
Yes.
I'm thinking about health too.
Mm-hmm.
To have enough warmth, food, a roof, clothes.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, I think.
All these things that you're talking about now are based on the illusion of form.
Yeah.
And the illusion of exchange, because what you are thinking of is, will you have the finances?
Yes, in fact, yes.
Why would you be afraid of that?
Have you been on Earth?
I have. I have. And believe me, I know all about money.
Yeah.
I used to have too much of it. Yes, I have been on Earth, and I understand that this is the way that Earth wants you to think. Well, not Earth, but the governments of Earth. Because this will keep you in a box. True abundance, however, is not something that is given to you from without. It comes from within, yes. And it is this source, this emission that you have, that is creating everything that you need around you. You shouldn't be thinking about, can I stay alive? Can I keep it all the way I have it right now? That's not what you should be thinking about. The true question that is there somewhere within you is, what is the basis of my fear? Why am I afraid? So why are you afraid that these things might be taken away from you?
Because I would be miserable if they went away. I don't have all those things.
So they give you identity.
Yes, of course.
And why is your identity based on these things?
The feeling of happiness has to do with it.
Yes, so the happiness is coming from without.
Yeah.
Not from within. And there it is, because you know what? You know what? Because that feeling of happiness is coming from without and needs to be provided by all of these things that you gather around you, that's why you are afraid that they are going to be taken away. Because if they are away, then you are no longer happy. Now I will tell you the only possibility that you have, basically, so that's an easy one. The only possibility to make sure that you keep all these things is to stop wanting them. If that happiness is coming from within, and there is no fear of losing things from without, then you will not create that loss, you see. It's because you are afraid to lose them that you will create situations that will allow you to lose them, because you are the creator.
Yeah.
So create a life where you have all of this coming from within and not from without. And there is nothing without then that can be taken away from you.
Yes, I understand that.
So, can you stay alive? Of course. All you have to do is change the way you think.
Yeah.
And that's very easy.
I've been working also today a lot of recognizing a very big void in me.
Yes. It had to come out sooner or later. But you know, the answer to that question about that void, it wasn't really a question, but you know, the answer to that question about that void is to be found in what I told you last time that we spoke. And we're talking about the work that you actually came here to do on the planet. Well, the answer lies there. If you do that work, if you work towards that, you will never feel that void energy again. Because you have so much to give. And there are a lot of children that are in need right now because they have been taught to live in the void of what you have to give. And if you can teach them that, then they can become strong again as well. And they can do the same thing that you are doing. Remember?
Yes.
But it's very courageous of you to acknowledge that void. Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We will continue talking in the coming days. Anyone else?
Yes. When you asked to go yes or no, I directly decided yes, but there's a lot of things going in my throat. My whole body feels sick. Okay.
Why do you think?
I think it's adjusting to, or if I...
Okay, let me tell you how this works, because it will happen to more people. They can go through it in different ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be illness or the body feeling the way it feels. What is truly happening to you is, look, if you have the energy of mind, and it lives inside of you as ego, throughout all those hundreds of years, your body has been programmed to, and your DNA has been programmed to respond to the presence or non-presence of ego. If the ego, and as such the personality and the identity, leaves the body, which in the past used to be called death, then the body will shut down. And this is some sort of safety mechanism that the ego, and as such the mind, has placed on matter, so that the consciousness could no longer inhabit the matter. Things have shifted, however, and your body is just going through old programming. Because the mind is wanting to leave, well, actually not wanting, but forced to leave. The ego is being pushed away more and more, and especially today a lot has happened with you in that respect. The body wants to shut down, because it really thinks, and I'm not trying to scare you here, but it really thinks it's dying. You see? It is not dying. It is just being born again. And the rightful connection to the energy that is your body is being restored. So that is what is happening. And why you have that throat thing going on, that's basically because your consciousness will, well, I shouldn't say this, but basically you are meant to sing. You see? You carry that energy. And that energy is going to come out of you again. So that is what is happening.
Yeah, I also had a dream last night. It was a little child who...
Yes.
I had an instrument, a little instrument, which I'm singing, and she was like tearing it down. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And when I wake up, I felt sick, and also in my throat.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, we talked about the mind before. Well, not you and I, obviously, but we have channeled, ekarayat, spoken so many times about what the mind does. And as Jeshua also told you all this morning, once the mind is letting go and it has no more space, it will revert to the dream state, where it can destroy you completely. Now, that doesn't mean that there is no more mind in your life, or in the reality around you, but in this case, particularly in your case, if that voice were to come back, and if you were actually start to sing, it would shatter the mind that is within you. So that is why it is acting a little bit faster than in most cases. It wants to already dominate you again now in your dreams, so that you will not be brought to singing, you see.
But sometimes I have already this times when I'm singing.
Yes.
But obviously it's not enough.
Well, I'm not just talking about singing a song. I am talking about bringing in that pure source of geometric energy that will transform people around you, that heals people around you, brings them back to consciousness as well. And that is what is within you. So what I would suggest, very basically, screw the mind.
Yes.
Screw it. Let it be. Let it give you that pain in your throat. It doesn't matter. Sing. You're welcome. And anyone else? Behind you.
It's behind you.
I want to share something. That's not really a question. I'm not sure how it's going to come out of me, but it's about illusion. I had to break through a major illusion, and that's my daughter.
I'm aware.
I know. She's turning 4 in January. And I've known since the moment that I was pregnant of her that she was very special.
I'm sorry. You just have to let it out.
Go ahead.
When I was pregnant of her 6 days, because I knew exactly when she was conceived, I had this dream about like a magician that appeared in my dream and told me that he would be the one that was born that was the mind of my daughter Eva. And when I was 5 months pregnant, I went to California, Manchester. And one day a man came up to me from the group that I was traveling with. And he said, I can communicate with souls of children. And he said, Eva visited me. And she wrote you a poem. And he said she wanted me to give that to you. It was a very special moment. I had to cry, of course, because the lines are so beautiful. And she was still in my womb. I mean, pretty amazing. Well, I've been through a major roller coaster this past year. Well, a few of you are aware of that.
Yes.
And recently, about 2 months ago, I went through some pretty rough experiences, and that made, because of that, Eva was taken away from me.
Yes.
I had a lot of pain about that, but it made me also realize that even your child can become an illusion, because I have met in Eva a consciousness that is so big that most of the time she wasn't my daughter anymore. She was my mother, she was my sister, she was everything but my daughter. And it's hard to raise her, it's very hard. So at first it was pretty difficult for me to accept the fact that she was taken away from me. On the other side, I had to admit that it also gave me a little space and time for me. So now there is some kind of decision that she will be brought up by my ex-boyfriend, her father, and it took me some time to come to terms with that.
Yes.
Because I have this experience that I had. I also was in a higher state of consciousness, and I could see right through the illusion of social workers, psychiatric people, police. I've even had police in my house, everything. For me, at that particular moment, they were like actors. And I think that's because I could go beyond the ego at that moment, I think. The ego comes in again when I have all my sadness and my pain about it. So in one occasion, it's a beautiful thing that happened, and it's a very not beautiful thing that happened. But
Yes.
it was an experience of illusion. Now, also recently, I took the poem of my daughter, which is in a silver frame, and I had it on my table next to my computer for a week. And suddenly I stared at the lines and the melody came into my body. And so now my daughter, for me, has officially turned into a song. It is called Eva's Song, and I would very much like to sing it one of these days. Because, like you, it's hard for me to sing, but it's my thing, I know. So maybe I can encourage you too, if I find the courage to do it. So also, maybe you can add that we can hear your song or something from you. But this is for me, but I just wanted to share that. But I would love to sing the song, but there's quite some emotional...
I understand.
So I cannot do it at the moment.
Now what I want to tell you about that situation. Well, the first thing that you said about seeing people as actors, that's perfectly normal, because that's what I see all the time.
Yes, I start to see it all the time too.
Yes. When I am here in these types of spaces and communicating, sometimes I even think, get real. You know, because you're playing this role, you're playing this part, it's not real. And the second thing that is more important to you is something that happens quite a lot. It didn't used to happen quite a lot, but it's happening more and more, and that is souls coming in that are very unique, that are very powerful, and that are here for a reason. Now these souls, there has been a period of about 9 years where most of these souls have been blocked to come in. These are what you would call the sun shifters, the sun children. Very, very pure energies that actually after Lemuria they turned back to the central sun and they never came back to Earth waiting for the right opportunity to come back in. Now, your daughter Eva is one of these children, and I usually don't speak much about the future, but what I can tell you is this. The reason why she was taken away is because her work is starting.
Yeah, I know.
She needs to be with the right group of people to do her work, and that is why she's ending up with your ex-lover, and she's not going to stay there.
No.
I'm getting very clear communication with her. She's not going to stay there. She's going to go away there pretty quickly, and it will probably be through her own choice, you know? And she is going to end up, and I can also tell you this, you will meet her again, obviously, a lot, but she is going to end up in Asia. That's where she wants to do her work.
I'm not surprised. I mean, when I was pregnant of her, people told me that she's like a shaman, like a very old wise soul.
Yes.
And she is. From the minute that she could talk, and she was quite something to raise her.
Well, yes, but that's where she's going to go. So just rest in the knowledge that all is well, basically, in this case.
I know, I can feel it, but it's just all the things around it that is so much.
And it's also going to give you more rest.
Yes, already. Yes. And I would love to sing that song. It's like, it's her song, but I got a melody to it, and I think it's the most beautiful thing that can happen.
Well, as I understand, you have an open night where you allow people to make music and everything. That's a perfect moment for that.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing this. Anyone else? Sweetheart.
Although my answer was yes, and is still yes. Yes, I will. There was a lot of emotion.
Yes.
I stood there before the tree, and I connected with the tree and with the sun. And I realized that is everything I always wanted to do.
And you have been in a life where you weren't always able to do the things that you wanted to do because of pressure.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
So I I want to jump in a new energy now, in free energy.
I already knew you would. Yay! Oh, I should do something about my laugh. Oh, they're in the same predicament. Thank you so much. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'll be all the time in the world. But it's 44 hours.
Oh God, what have I done?
I don't know if it's too early to get the answer, but what kind of souls came in Hawaii last December, Christmas?
In what way?
Which state in
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
It's too early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And anyway, that is an answer that you'd want to get personally at this point, because
I could take the guess.
yeah, it's going to be pretty strange to communicate that towards a whole group of people right now. So I want to give you that answer.
Okay. Can I ask it vaguely then? Is it? Do I? Vaguely.
Did you say fakely or fakely?
Ja, maar ik stel. En zo is. Did it have lichamelijk, physically reactions with me? Because she told me that sometimes they would come to me.
Physical reactions.
Yeah, like, lichamelijk.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I know physical reactions, but what do you mean exactly?
Because she had said,
Yes.
yeah, like I'm a mother for them, they will
Yes.
come to visit me
Mm-hmm.
when they need it.
Yeah.
I wonder, last year, was it all me or was it also the reactions of, I don't know.
Oh, that. It was all of it together.
Oh, okay, so it's not all of me. Okay.
Yeah, it was all of it together. Yes.
Does my stomach have something to do with all it, or is it just illusion?
Your stomach, that's a bodily thing.
Huh?
A bodily thing. A thing of the
okay,
body.
okay.
Yes. Yes. That must be pretty vague to everyone. And for you the answer is 42. What else? Anyone else want to ask a question now that we have the time? Yes.
When you are in the source, when you are consistent, when you are full of love and joy and freedom, I was wondering how you had the illusion also of joy here on this earth.
Yes.
How it was with, can you, when you're being in your source, can you also, can you, or may you, or can you enjoy that illusion still or not? I have a kind of strange click in my head about that, because some illusions are beautiful and some illusions are very joyful and
Name me an
happy.
illusion that is beautiful or joyful.
Well, the dolphins, or a beautiful flower, or children who are playing, or
Yes. Okay, I can answer that for you. As you look at the title for this seminar, right beneath the meaning of life, I invited the others to write mastering your illusions. It's not about destroying all illusions. It's not about all humanity stepping out of form. You know, it's like what you did with the time today. As you worked with the time, you didn't destroy time, you just mastered it. You became a master over it. And that means you are no longer trapped in that illusion. That you are no longer guided by it. It's no longer manipulating you, controlling you. So stepping out of the illusion, because you're talking about dolphins and you're talking about flowers, stepping out of that illusion is not the fact that there won't be any more dolphins and there won't be any more bodies and there won't be any more of that. The 3D reality, or this expression of infinity, will always be here. It will never go away. And that's very important for all of you to know. 3D will not stop. It will not be deleted or anything. You will just have control over it in the sense that you are not stuck here. You know, mastering your illusions. If you look at, for instance, a beautiful, beautiful room, and you have everything in that room that you want, and you have loved ones there, and you have, well, you know, like most people's houses are. They are very well decorated. I know you love your apartment, for instance. It's a beautiful apartment. Imagine that you were stuck in there for the rest of your life and you could never go outside. And that would be your reality. That's what this is. This will not go away. It is even necessary for the whole to be holy, you know? It is necessary for the all to be complete. But right now, you are stuck here because you cannot see anything else besides this body and everything around that. So the illusions will still be there as an experience, but you will not be stuck with them. So the dolphins will continue, and the flowers will continue, and all of those things will continue. But because of the fact that you're stuck and that all of humanity is stuck, you are creating very negative things. You are creating war because you think this is so important and that this is all it is. Bless you. And you are creating pain and death, and you are creating suffering and hunger because you think you must, I'm not talking about you personally, I'm talking about humanity. You are creating these things because you think you need to defend yourselves in this world and you need to get what you want because otherwise you have nothing and you will suffer. Those things will go away. And you will have the ability to be either experiencing something here or anywhere else, in any other aspect of infinity. This used to be a space, and that's why Lemuria was started up all those time ago. This used to be a space where you used to, as a worker of energy, as a weaver of energy, as an energy being, used to come to see the results of your creations, to see the actual manifestation of that in matter. That's what you used to do. So all of it will continue to exist. All of it. But you will make it a lot prettier and lovable instead of all that pain that is going around and all that hatred. You see? Does it answer your question?
Yes, and now was another question that came up from when you are living from that side, then you created everything. So can it be that there is still a kind of surprise, or they're not because you're still creating them? I was just wondering what's happening when you're not creating, you just live from the joy and the flow.
Let me tell you like this. You will not be completely conscious of everything around you. Like, for instance, you talk about a surprise. Let me just say, imagine that you're walking down a path next to an ocean, and it's a beautiful day, and you turn around a side of a mountain, and all of a sudden you see this huge ocean and a huge rainbow there. And your question is, would you already be aware of the fact that there's going to be a rainbow, or will you be surprised by it? Well, you will be surprised by it, because creation is about love and joy and freedom, and you're in that state of joy. And as you begin creating something out of joy, you might end up with something that you haven't foreseen at all. And that's like an artist. You might begin a painting, you might begin an painting, and you don't know that there's going to be a rainbow in that painting by the time that you finish. You see? That's the way it works. So you will be surprised a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I think we have time for about 2 more questions.
I don't need it. Sorry. I don't need
Hello, sweetheart.
hello, dear friend. I think creation
Yes.
is a surprise.
Yes.
It is a surprise
All the
to
time. Huh?
create all the time, whatever you create, because there is the creation and you work on it, and then all of a sudden there is something quite different, and that's a surprise.
Oh, deze dame die wil nog een vraag stellen. Was jij klaar?
You see that she's working with me already, huh? Hello.
I'm here for the first time now, and I was hearing the channelings on the internet since 10 days. So that
Yes.
and when I was now outside for the exercise now, and I felt in my heart, I said, I want to say yes to this question, but there are still a lot of doubt, or because I feel some physical pain.
Yes.
And I know now that I created this myself, but I want to know how I can create it in another way now, and because I don't want to have this pain anymore.
Okay. I can answer you to that, if you like. You made one error in judgment. The reason why you are feeling this is because you think that you have created the pain. The pain wasn't created by you. It was created by the mind. The mind that wants to feed you pain, because pain will lead to withdrawal, that you ultimately say no, for instance. So it's not you creating it, that you must be very, very aware of. It's not you that is creating it, it is the mind. It is, however, you allowing it, because you identify with it. You see? It's like Joshua said this morning again. You have the option of either identifying with an external situation or an internal one, like pain, or you have the option of being one with it, blending with it, mastering it. If you identify with it, then the pain will show up in your body, and you will have no way of stopping it, because the only thing that you control at that point is a little bit of matter. You see? Well, if you don't identify with it, and you open yourself up to the possibility that you are everything, then you have the ability, my dear, to be a master of energy. And then you can be one with that pain and say, this pain is a pattern in my energy field, because you are all that is. And then you can change that. Then you can choose again. But first you have to learn to be a God. Small task, huh? You have to learn that everything is you. And only then can you take pain and disease and even death away. So, why do you think your mind is creating that for you? If you look at the rest of your life.
Yeah. I have a lot of pain in my eyes, and there is something, I think there is something I don't see in my life, in myself. Something I can see, or something I won't see, or something I don't know. When I go to the doctor, he said it's just genetic.
Hereditary.
Yeah. So it's just like that, he said. And but for me, yeah, I have some pressure in my eyes, and I had on one eye I had an operation already, and he wants to do the other eye too. But I think, isn't there another way to?
Obviously, there is.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Well, the reason that your eyes are in pain sometimes, and other parts of your body too, yes, has to do with the DNA activating. You know, you haven't just activated that DNA when you started listening to the channelings and the ekarayas. You have been doing it actually already for about 4.5 years, and that's a very long time. A very long time for any human on this planet.
Since that time that I have those problems, since 5-6 years. Yeah.
And after that, you decided, you didn't start, you decided that you will have no more of this, and that was enough, and that your life needed to change. And that's when the DNA started reactivating. Now I know one thing, this is the first time that you think that we have met, but we have actually met a lot of times. Not just talking about myself, I'm also talking about others that are present obviously in the room, but we have met a lot of times. Because you, my dear, have been in a different life for 4.5 years. Normally, you would have no longer been on the planet. I shouldn't say these things like that.
I can agree.
You can follow me?
Yes.
You should no longer be on the planet, but you are, you see? But you already overstepped that boundary. You already chose that new life. And now your body just needs to be made aware of it completely. The reason why your body is in such physical pain and things aren't going the way they should be going is because the body, like here, the body keeps trying the body keeps trying to shut down. It wants to shut down because its original programming is over. And if you now become more aware of what you truly are, and we will talk about that in the coming days because your name isn't there for nothing. But we will talk about that in the coming days. You will teach the body new programming. The DNA, in your case, and this is rare, but in your case the DNA is fully present. The 144 strands are fully activated. They just haven't been powered up yet. And that is the ability that you are going to give yourself here, if you allow it to fully work with those 144 strands. And there's not even 1,000 people on the planet today that have those strands fully activated. I mean it.
I don't know.
No, of course you don't. If you knew, then... Yeah. You know, and then, of course, now the trick is to not let the mind come in and say, why me? Why should I be walking around here with 144 strands?
God, why me?
But that is who you are, and I am sure, I want all of you, that's not a sentence. I want all of you to look at that lady over there. Oh, I shouldn't have asked that question. Well, by the end of the seminar, by the end of our gathering here, you will see a transformed person. I am telling you that you will not walk out of here the same way you came in. There will be a radiance about you, a type of enlightenment. And you will become very strong. In fact, I already see you that way. You still need to act upon it, but that's everything that you need to do. Okay?
Okay.
That's fascinating information.
Thank
you.
Yeah, a simple question maybe, but if a conscious person and a person in the mind, and they both have manifesting power, how does it work in comparison, in percentages? How strong is the conscious person and how strong is the...
Well, there are no percentages.
Yeah, but can you give an idea of it?
Yes, it's very simple. It's very simple. There is no way that a conscious creation would not manifest because of a mindful creation. No way. Because a mindful creation will always be based on fear. And a conscious creation will always be based on love and joy and freedom. So a conscious creation will be infinitely stronger than any type of mindful creation in the end.
Okay, so it's just a matter of focus now?
Yes, that's all it is. It's a matter of focus, mastering those illusions, and stepping into those 3 universal love laws. Okay? Thank you. Well then, my beloved friends, it's been quite a long day. I hope you don't feel bored. I don't. I'm very happy that you manifested it. I'm very happy that you did this to your reality, that you sped up time the way you have.
How much time exactly?
You said one more question? Well, actually, you've sped up about 3.5 hours. Should I do that too now?
Yeah, 2 o'clock we came inside. An hour, half an hour. It was 5 o'clock. Must be 1.5 hours.
You sped up more time than that. It's not because it's on your watch.
Oh, okay.
It's what the earth is doing. But you will notice that these things will continue to happen. You will see that if you stretch time and if you push it all together, that many things will feel strange at first, because you will walk from time zone to time zone to time zone. It's like you will have some sort of cosmic jet lag as you step from one zone into the other zone, a zone that you have created or a zone that the mind has created. But this is something that you will grow accustomed to quite quickly, in fact, because it need not be a problem. Anyway, I wish for all of you tonight to find out all the things that you can truly play with. Play around with it. Try it out what you can do. Know that at this point the safeties haven't been taken off completely, so no, you can't destroy the planet. There's no problem there. Yet. Just kidding. You can't do these things, but try to see how you can live your life differently. Try to find the boundaries of this, and you will know, you will experience that there are no boundaries to this. Just remember, this is just a first step. It's just child's play at this moment. These types of things are not used to just play around with. The only reason I'm telling you is that you can experience them. Experience them for yourselves now. Starting tomorrow, we will really start working with this. And I hope that all of you will know the responsibility you need to carry with it. So prepare yourself. Prepare yourselves well tonight. And as of tomorrow, we will begin a new path. I am very grateful that all of you have chosen to walk the path. The only problem there is that you will notice that the longer you walk it, the less chance there is of walking back. You won't be able to do that. So thank you for who you are. Thank you for your attention. I will remind you now to continue focusing. To continue focusing on the energy of your consciousness and of working with that consciousness. And to remember the principle of breath. And how breath is a constant reminder of your creation. If you can find focus there with every breath that you take, I have told most of you before that we're there in Den Helder, but you haven't done it, most of you. You haven't been working with the focus of breath. I will again remind you to do that. It's no problem, it's not difficult. All you need to do is breathe in and breathe out. And as you do that, remember every breath. Remember who you are. Remember what you can do. Remember where you can go. Remember, I am. I am. I am. Remember. I wish you all a good night. I wish you all a loving night, a night of joy, and a night of exploring your newfound freedom. Feels good to know that so many are stepping into the path. Feels good to know that humanity will no longer wait for this, but that they will take action when action was upon them. And so, my beloved Imzaia, with all the mastery that I have, I see you all as equal. And so it is.
I do want to thank you all for stepping into your power. And I want you to know that we are here for you. If you need any one of us, please look for us.